Intrusive harm thought. This is the sudden idea of hurting yourself or someone else, even though you have no intention of acting on it. It often feels disturbing because it clashes with your values, and it usually fades quickly. These thoughts can feel extremely vivid in the moment, but they are actually a common byproduct of an overactive threat detection system in the brain. The more you try to suppress or fight them, the more attention they seem to gain, which is why they can feel sticky even though they are harmless. What if I lose control? Thought. This thought is the fear that you might suddenly act out or do something dangerous. It's driven by anxiety and a need for control, not by any real intention. It often appears when you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed, because your mind starts scanning for worst-case outcomes. In reality, the presence of this thought usually indicates the opposite. You care deeply about not losing control, which is why it feels so intense. Catastrophic future thought. This is when your mind jumps straight to the worst-case scenario. It turns small uncertainties into imagined disasters that feel very real in the moment. The brain does this as a protective mechanism, trying to prepare you for danger, but it often exaggerates probability. Over time, this pattern can make normal situations feel heavier than they actually are, because your imagination is running faster than reality. Self-worth doubt thought. This thought questions your abilities, appearance, or value as a person. It often shows up as quiet but persistent self-criticism. Unlike external criticism, this one feels internal and automatic, almost like background noise in your thinking. It tends to ignore your strengths and focuses only on perceived flaws, even when there is clear evidence that contradicts it. Social judgment thought. This is the feeling that others are watching and judging everything you do. It can make normal interactions feel stressful or uncomfortable. In most cases, people are actually far less focused on us than we assume. But the mind creates a spotlight effect, making it feel like every action is being analyzed. This can increase self-consciousness and make even simple social moments feel draining. Existential thought. This thought dives into questions about life, purpose, and reality. It can feel heavy or unsettling when your mind gets stuck on it. These thoughts often arise during quiet moments or emotional fatigue when the brain starts exploring meaning at a deeper level. While they can feel overwhelming, they are also part of human reflection and awareness, just intensified beyond comfort. Regret replay thought. This is when your brain replays past mistakes or awkward moments repeatedly. It creates the illusion that those moments matter more than they actually do. The mind does this in an attempt to learn from the past, but it often turns into rumination instead of problem-solving. Even small events can feel larger in memory because they are replayed with emotional intensity. Comparison thought. This thought compares your life, success, or appearance to others. It often leaves you feeling behind, even when the comparison isn't fair. The mind naturally highlights people who seem ahead, while ignoring context, like struggles, timing, or background. This creates a distorted scoreboard where you only see your disadvantages and others' highlights. Fear of rejection thought. This is the expectation that others will reject or abandon you. It can lead to overthinking messages, conversations, and relationships. This thought often builds anticipation of rejection even before any evidence exists, causing you to interpret neutral actions as negative. It is closely tied to the brain's need for belonging and social safety. Nothing matters thought. This is a sense of emptiness where everything feels pointless. It often comes during emotional fatigue or burnout. This thought doesn't necessarily reflect truth, but rather a temporary reduction in emotional energy. When the mind is exhausted, it struggles to assign meaning, which can make everything feel flat or distant. Jealousy thought. This thought focuses on what others have that you don't. It can create resentment or insecurity if it lingers. Jealousy often highlights unmet personal desires, but instead of guiding growth, it compares your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. This distortion can make progress feel invisible. Everyone else has it figured out thought. This is the belief that others are more confident, successful, or certain than you. It ignores the fact that most people feel the same doubts. This thought is strengthened by social appearances, where people tend to show clarity rather than confusion. Internally, however, uncertainty is far more universal than it seems. Overgeneralization thought. This is when one negative event turns into a sweeping belief, like thinking one failure means you always fail. It reduces complex experiences into a single conclusion, which makes it feel more permanent than it really is. The mind simplifies patterns too aggressively, ignoring variation and context. Mind-reading thought. This thought assumes you know what others are thinking, usually something negative about you. It often has no real evidence behind it. The brain fills in gaps in information with assumptions, especially in social situations, which can lead to unnecessary self-doubt or anxiety. Something bad is about to happen thought. This is a vague sense of dread without a clear reason. It creates tension and alertness even in safe situations. It is often linked to stress or uncertainty, where the nervous system stays activated even without real danger, as if preparing for something that never arrives. Perfectionism thought. This thought demands that everything you do must be flawless. It can make starting or finishing tasks feel overwhelming. Instead of supporting improvement, it raises the standard so high that progress feels never enough, creating pressure that slows down action. Attachment. Fear thought. This is the fear of getting too close to someone or losing them. It can cause push and pull behavior in relationships. This thought is often rooted in emotional protection strategies, where the mind tries to avoid potential pain by controlling closeness, even when connection is desired. Guilt thought. This thought makes you feel responsible for things that may not fully be your fault. It can linger even after the situation has passed. Guilt becomes heavier when the mind overestimates your control over events, making normal human limitations feel like personal failure. Which thought did you pretend you never had?